Good afternoon. Yeah, first I would like just to thank the organizers, Jose, Hervey, and Yuhei for the invitation, and Sarah for coordination. I'm really glad to be here, and just wanted to share a little bit of what we do in my lab. So this is a picture of my lab. These are postdoc students and grad students who are part of the core of our lab at UT Dallas. We also have some support from NIH and the National Science Foundation to do our work.
You have a big lab.
It's growing.
You said it's your lab. This building was your lab?
No. It's where my lab sits. I wish it was mine. Yeah, so we're interested in the general topic of molecular evolution. In particular, we like to combine statistical inference techniques, machine learning techniques, information theory, and statistical analysis with physical models to understand kind of landscapes of evolution. Just as a brief overview of some of the projects that we're working on, we like to understand from data sets, mostly sequence data sets, what are the rules of change that allow us to predict if a mutation or a change in a protein will lead to a functional or non-functional outcome. One application for sure is the idea of molecular design. If we want to build proteins that are built from different pieces, what can we do to change them in order to make them functional or not? Engineering of sensors is another example where we would like to engineer proteins that act upon some binding. Another project is interactions. So we are very interested in networks, interaction networks, and how specificity has been tailored by evolution. And this is where we combine the idea of global models of sequence change with physical interaction models of complex formation and connect them to disease. One topic that I thought was very interesting, especially due to the talks we were having this morning, is the idea of understanding evolution. So we've been talking about the idea of machine learning as a proxy to science. So for sure we can use machine learning to build things, to design things. But our approach in the case of sequence evolution is, can we learn constraints, evolutionary constraints of given protein families, use those constraints as part of a sequence evolution model, and then say something about the evolution or the dynamics of evolution of proteins. So in some ways, bringing back the idea of learning what we observe into a model that is probably not easily modeled with a few parameters. So you still need to create a kind of a phenomenological model, but it's learned through sequences. And finally, can we extend this into the idea of functional landscapes, where you have sequences, you can cluster them, but also you can say how the space of changes is allowable, and where can we go from the natural sequences towards something else, either preserving function or going to areas of neo-functionalization, and this is what we're also doing recently. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe one quick question. Yeah, go ahead. While your door comes out.
Yeah.
So, we have mic right. Years ago, I was thinking.
Oh, you need a mic. Where's the other mic?
Oh, mic, yes. So years ago, I thought it was a good idea to look at machine learning algorithms, but also augment them with physical laws that we know. For example, in scattering experiments in high energy physics. And then later on, when I became a bureaucrat at NSF, I funded actually Mark Bethe at MIT to do that. But then I've been talking to machine learning people at Hopkins, and they tell me, no, you don't want to use the physical laws because they're giving you too much bias towards one. You want to really do it blindly. And I see that you're doing that. You're kind of putting the physical laws in machine learning. So what's your opinion about these two views?
Well, let's say for the case of evolution, where you have emergent properties, right? So it's very hard to really describe what are all the aspects that constrain the function of a protein. We know the structure leads to function, but there are many other things. There's stability, there's conformational dynamics. Everything somehow is encoded in the samples that we see in nature. So I think that's a perfect example where you can learn something that is emergent. There are no strict laws. And that's where I see the value, where these examples are very hard to
But when
really,
we start these constraints of the physical rules at the beginning.
for sure, yeah.
And they were saying, the machine learning people were saying you don't need to do it.
No, well, I guess it's a matter of perspective, right? I still think that the combination is useful.
Okay, well, I think we, so the,